possible. But because of this covenant later, God put himself in this position.
It's starting to come down up here. I'm about, I guess, 30 miles into Oklahoma now. Fortunately, I got out early, so I think I'm gonna pretty much miss the bad stuff. It's getting worse. All right, it's really coming down now. Woohoo! Headed to Nebraska today. I've never seen the Strategic Air Command Museum, and that's where I'm headed. So I'm almost, well, I got a couple more hours. I'll check in a little bit. All right, just got here to the Strategic Air Command, or SAC. Here's a Delta Dart. I can see an F-111 Aardvark and an F-4 Phantom II. That one there, I think is the B-47, but I'm not completely sure. I think, ooh, they've got the B-58 Hustler straight back. Not a very good picture of it, but that's the B-58 Hustler. I think. We're gonna find out. Right, they've got a U-2 spy plane. This here's the B-17. Beyond that is the B-52. I can't believe they got one of those in here. It's enormous, of course. Look at that tail. Vertical stabilizer. Okay. I think, I'm not sure what that one is. Is that the B-36 right there? I think that's what that is. I'm not sure about that one. That's an older plane. That is, I think, the F-86 Sabre right there. This one I'm not sure. But I'm supposed to take the tour in a few minutes. Oh yeah, look at that. That is the B-36. How many of these are there left? You got 3 propellers, and then 2 jets on 1 wing. That was a big one. I think the predecessor of the B-52. This is great. It's not the B-25 Mitchell, I don't think. I think that's the B-26. Pretty sure. Okay, so as I was saying below, out here, okay, here we go. This is, in fact, the B-58 Hustler, which was a bomber that was designed to go the speed faster than the speed of sound, and the B-47 right next to it here, and of course the B-52. B-17, the F4. I guess this is the Royal F4, so it's from Britain. I thought that was an F-111 beside it. Is that what that says? And 17. This is the one I wasn't sure of. What does that say? F-107? F-101. F-101. That's what this one is right here. Come on, focus. Zoom out. Well, it won't cooperate with me. Big shock. Anyway, that's the F-101. There's not very many that have the recessed jets behind the tail like that. The only two I can think of is this F-101 and the F4, which is over here. You saw that example earlier. Other than that, usually the jets are at the very aft of the aircraft. These are the only two examples I know of where it's not. There's that U-2. Look how it's amazing. Just amazing. What is, I think this is the Apollo. Okay, it's a boilerplate is what they call it. Look at that. The boilerplate. And here's another one. I don't think this is a real one either. It's got too many windows on it. It's too pretty. Way too pretty. Look at that. Okay, the X-38 CRV. Crew return. Interesting. Okay. Refueler boom. This is a refueler, obviously. There's where the refueler person or people, crew, sit. Neat. I wonder if we can go aboard. We're sure gonna find out. The Sokol suit. The Sokol. Intervehicular activity. Russian Soyuz spacecraft. Okay. Interesting. Look at that. Alright, here's a cargo plane. Okay. The rear end swings open, just a couple of barn doors. Interesting. All right, here's the B-29 Superfortress. This is called Lucky Lady. These propellers are 16 feet in diameter, and each engine is 16 cylinders. Oh, we can go into the bomb bay as well. So first we'll go up these stairs and look in the front. Oh, you can kind of see the tube. These things were pressurized. The way from the front to the back was through that tube. Okay. Let's see, to the front. The gunner in the front would sit right there. Yeah, there you go. Or maybe the navigator. Look at these instruments. Maybe he's the navigator instead of the gunner. Let's look at the bomb bay. There's a C-47. Okay. Ooh, all right. Here we go. So there's one bomb. Some other bombs here, hopefully inert. This is a big bomb bay. They have two of these. Each B-29 has two of these. There's that tube I was referring to before. See how it goes all the way to the back. I wonder if that's a ball turret right there. I bet it is. All right, let's get out of here without banging my head. All right, look at this. Really large main landing gear. No, that's not a ball turret. Maybe that's radar. I think side gunners. Bomb assessment. Camera access. Look at that. Wow. That's pretty neat. That is a KC-135 without wings. It's a refueler. I'm not sure what this one's called. Passenger plane, looking like. Very silver. Here's an F-117. I'm surprised they let me be this close to it. Of course, this is keeping me from it, but this is the restoration galley, huh? Gallery, rather. And wow, F-117 right there. Crazy, right? Quite angular and pointy in parts. Oh, there's a Vulcan. Wow, look at that. Not too many of those around. Well, it's F-117 either. This British aircraft is very rare. That F4 a little bit closer. Oh, there's the seat. The Martin Baker rocket assisted ejection seat. Is this the F-111? I think so. Yeah, the aardvark. The pilots sit side by side in this one instead of front to back. There's the front of that B-52. There's the front of the B-17. Amazing. This is a MiG of some kind. And then beyond that is the B-47. Don't hit your head. Beyond that is the B-58 Hustler. Look at that. That's fuel. That's a fuel pod. Oh my gosh. So you've got 1, 2, 3 crew, right? My goodness. Medium supersonic bomber. All right, look at the size of these engines. Oh, they've got one. Just keeps going, doesn't it? Now here's the B-47 dual engines. And look at this landing gear. Okay, there's, I guess that's payload right there. But they just got 1, 2, 3, 4. Those front and rear main landing, and then these two, one on each wing. Interesting how they put the, look at the size of that fuel tank, right? All right, so there's an elite guard that protects the Strategic Air Command. And here's the uniform circa 60s to 80s. And here's 80s to 90s. And then we jump back to 50s to 60s. The most elite security guard for the Air Force. Pretty neat. Remember, I just told you the F-111, they sit side by side. Well, you can pause on that if you want to, but they actually have a little example here of the cockpit where they sit side by side, like I was saying. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't build a model of the F-111. It's also an example of a swing wing. Right now, they're swung all the way to the rear, but they actually swing out like the F-14 Tomcat. Anyway, have a look inside there. There's that B-17. Some bombs it would carry. There's that radial engine. I had in my head that those stairs meant that we could climb inside, but that's not the case. Here's a nice tail gunner position. I haven't seen these up close before. It'll let you get right next to it. I could reach out and touch those guns. Pretty neat. Here's the gunner. Look at that warm coat. Well, leather outfit, really. Oh, we can get really close. Let's see. It allows us to go and lean in at least. That's oxygen. It's probably a camera. No, that's an engine. auxiliary power unit more than likely. Side gunner. Side gunner. Wow. That is so cool. Little gangplank there. Can you imagine crawling back to be the tail gunner? I mean, this is the width of it right here. There's no insulation at all. That's why they had those big old coats. £1,000. Oh, this is probably the captain right here. Yep, the pilot. Fancy hat. That's the F-101 that we talked about earlier. Here's that B-36, just enormous. Just enormous. Be cool to climb into that. Let's see what they let us do. Anything at all? Oh, we can see the bomb bay. Let's check that out. Oh my goodness. Look. Look how enormous this bomb bay is. Oxygen. Look at this little thing called the parasite. Never commissioned, but that little hook would hook on the wing. Let's see what it was for. Oh, is it as a fighter escort? Okay. The Goblin. Okay. Look at this gear, main gear. It's got to be over 4 foot tall. And those bombs. Look at the size of those engines, propellers. That's a big one. And here's a B-25 Mitchell. Medium bomber. These are the kind that were on the Doolittle raid. Okay, here's a walkthrough of the B-25. Okay. All right, let's see here. Serial number. Okay. There's the chairs, seats, all those controls. Okay. Coming back. Probably the Navigator or the Bombardier, perhaps. And here's the payload where the bombs would be. One of the bomb bays, rather. And okay. There's the tail. Okay, earlier I called this one a B-26, but it's actually an A-26. You can see 8 guns right at the front. The tail is different than the B-25. It's more of a standard looking tail as compared to B-25. Oh, it's just side by side. Look at that. Pilot and co-pilot sit side by side in this one. They have one of these at the World War II Museum too. Down in New Orleans. I'd never seen one before. I didn't even know they existed. Look at that. That's the B-52's tail. And you can see there's the B-36's tail. So the B-36 has those 3 propeller engines, and then on the outside of each wing is 2 jet engines. Look at this smoke helmet. Pretty crazy looking. You can see the little coverings over the eyes. Leather. Looks like a whistle. Wow. Underside of the SR-71. Such a big aircraft. All right, let's have a look at these missiles again. Right inside the glass, there's an SR-71 that we took a good look at earlier. Okay, here's this missile we just looked at. Not overly exciting. The Blue Scout. Okay. This one's called Thor. Alright. And I don't know about this one. I know it's tall. Anything else about it? Strategic Air Command. Dun, 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 dun. And here's the B-1 Lancer. It needs a cooler name, but whatever. There she is, the B-1 Lancer. All right, that's it. I'll catch you on the next one.